Good morning, everybody. Afternoon, I guess. Hope everyone is well. What's up, Shade? Modding in the chat. Valhalla, what's up, brother? Allegringer, I'm going to say that because I don't know how to pronounce it. And Linda, what's up? Thanks for being here. So I went ahead and changed kind of what we're doing here. I don't like that already. I don't think I can see my name, but yeah. Oh. If you'd prefer staring at goats or want to stare at goats in your free time when I'm not streaming, go ahead and sub to Valhalla. My brother, he's doing great stuff over there with goats and ducks. What's up, Dance Biker? So an update on the story last night. One, we got multiple warnings, multiple, let's say, engagements from YouTube. I'll call them love letters. We got multiple love letters from YouTube. So I don't really care. However, the kid did get his YouTube channel back and all his subscribers. So that is awesome. And I know it is back up. So let me find the link real quick and I'll, if you guys haven't subbed. Oh, don't do that. Yeah, we actually didn't get a actual strike. We got age restricted. We got a claim. There's a bunch of stuff on that video, but we have not been struck yet for it. And keyword is yet. I'm happy for him too, Linda. Like, if you don't know, little guy, he is dying. His Make-A-Wish dream was 100,000 YouTube subs, and I don't know the complete backstory. Yeah, we got a claim too. I don't know what for. They didn't specify, but so yeah, what's his name? I forgot his name. Captain Jack. You know who I'm talking about. Captain Jack said made a deal with him at 200,000. He'd come chill. So, and he made a video, and that kid was so happy. So supposedly, YouTube had it back up before he even knew about it. So, working with the family. Yes. Also, did I put his? Yes. Also, when I get kicked here, go ahead and sub to Johnny Depp. Sorry, like, go sub to my Rumble channel. Just started it last night. I'm working on downloading videos to throw over there. We have to have 50 subs to stream on Rumble. So yeah, I mean, YouTube was a little salty. They were a little salty. But you know what? I think it was justified. They shouldn't have done that. I probably also shouldn't have done that. But, we live and we learn. And my mistake is far less impactful than theirs were. Yes, I have. I got it reversed, but yes. Hey, sometimes you just have to be. So, oh, I'm truly not worried about it at all. Like, I know it's coming, so okay. So apparently that doesn't. I have switched over completely to StreamYard at this point, and apparently an overlay is not actually an overlay. So, who knew? I think it's better. Then I don't have to have a separate chat window open, and I don't have to deal with all that crap. So today's topic is Tuesday's topic, and we don't have the tech issues on this Tech Thursday. So we're going to go through some pro and con arguments of simulation theory, what it is. Call you out. Okay, cool. Yes, simulation theory. For what it's worth, I 100% believe that we are in a computer simulation. I've studied it in depth, and I think some of the reasons we can't unlock the secrets of the universe is because we're not given the proper tools. And such as in math, you can't, if you don't have the variables, then you can't work out the solution. So, are we living in a computer simulation? And I'm not going to read everything because they're academic papers and you guys would hate it, but it's incredibly interesting. So, this paper argues that at least one of the following propositions are true. One, the human species is very likely to go extinct before reaching post-human stage. Two, any post-human stage civilization is extremely unlikely to run a significant number of simulations of their evolutionary history or variations thereof. Three, we are almost certainly living in a computer simulation. It follows that the belief that there is a significant chance that we will one day become posthumans who will run ancestor simulations is false unless we are currently living in a simulation. A number of other consequences are a result of this being discussed. Daddy Elon actually, if you read he released an actual paper and he is 100% on board. So that might be interesting. I also firmly believe that we are. And the biggest argument is you look at everybody knows what Pong is, right? So not like beer pong, but like pong pong. Hang on. So this is Pong. And I was losing because I pushed a button. Essentially, Linda, that's the argument. So I'm paying more attention to you guys than than this. I'm not that bad at it. So this was the first iteration of a computer video game. And as you can see, it's very basic, very, very poorly written, and it wasn't as clear in obviously the first platform, and you couldn't find it from a you couldn't find it on the internet freely. So you go from that. That would have been a good idea. I could have actually just brought up Assassin's Creed and played Assassin's Creed. Give me 1 second. Okay, we'll just watch a little bit of this so I don't get struck.
Mountain Dew.
Peggy 18.
So this is what the recent video games. Well, it's coming out in February, I think. Hopefully, I can buy it for myself for my birthday.
Are you ready to give up who you once thought you were?
So this is what a video game looks like now, and they're almost indistinguishable from background music. What about background music?
Ready to sacrifice everything you have.
So this is actual gameplay now of a game.
Are you ready to leave?
Can you guys not hear the audio for the
walk the path of shadows?
I am. Anyway. Yeah, probably. Just a little bit though. So that's a okay. I didn't know what you're talking about. So that's a video game that's currently coming out. So you can see from Pong to what we have now and the leap that we've made in, 30, 40 years. Oh, well, I was typing. It'd be better if I was prepared, but I don't know where I'm going to go. So anyways, we're just going to ignore Shade, maybe put her in timeout for a minute, but so I think it's something that's really possible. I mean, where will we be in another 40 years? Can we immerse? Can we, change things about our environment? And I think it's possible. So, hey, Miss Amanda. So if you take into account just the video game aspect of it, you can see some evidence that, yeah, maybe. There's other aspects of it. This is the one. There's other aspects of it and there's ways to test it, but again, we're not intelligent enough to test it. We don't have, the ability to test it. And as we get into Facebook's metaverse, things like that, obviously we're getting there. Watching shows or movies on extra high def has too many details. It makes it unrealistic. Well, that's the rendering. So now we're to a point where we can get the sharpness in the video. So now we can start making it more realistic. It's one of those things. I don't know if you've ever used like an Unreal Engine or something like that, which is a platform that they use to make games. Getting human-like movements and shadows down, and the folds and the actual physical movements that a human makes is incredibly difficult to capture, and it takes an enormous amount of time. Like I made a 10-minute like really terrible video game, and it took me almost 6 months to make it. So, but you could finish it in like 10 minutes, and it was horrific. So, um, it takes time, and what it takes is rendering, and our computers don't have the necessary brain power to be able to do that yet. Hopefully, uh, once we get more into neural networks and so everybody says that's in intelligence or knows what the path line is. There's a couple different things that Elon's going to use, and one of them is quantum computing. Quantum computing is literally using atoms. How far do I want to go into this? We'll go over quantum computing at some point. So quantum computing, or as known, he's getting Neuralink, so a brain chip to install. And the positive to that is you will right. Exactly. No, I got what you said. I got what you said, Dance. Sorry, I'm reading like you guys know what I'm talking about. Aw, that sucks. I mean, how it works out, Shade. No one looks good in HD. Yeah. So where was I? Neuralink. So the trade-off is going to be that he can implant the entire internet, the entire wealth of knowledge of humanity into your brain for immediate access. The flip side to that is he's going to have people farms, essentially. He's going to use your computing power, of which we only use 10%. The idea is to be able to unlock that other 90 and use it for mass computing. So that's the lesser known side of it, because obviously he doesn't want to admit that because people don't understand and they'd freak out. But I think that's definitely in the plans moving forward. So I think it's all very, very interesting. One of the other things with simulation theory is, so people say, I wonder if I can steal this guy's thing. Haha. Sorry, I'm reading something. I know, riveting. Okay, we could maybe I didn't realize that. Okay. Nope, I'm not going to dox myself. So I was going to bring up a PowerPoint, but I don't want to dox myself yet. I will be doxing myself live. Well, I think we're going to record it on Hayden's channel coming up. Probably release early next week. We'll probably do it this weekend, but doxing myself live, so don't miss that on Aussie Overlord. It's part of planning. Yeah, I think Elon has actually been pretty clear about moving forward as a society, and we have to do better. We have all the information, and yeah, you can get to it, but then there's a will and need. If we're going to ever get to a type 1 civilization, we need the artists. We need people of all walks of life to be able to compute and share ideas to help progress us. Scientists are great. Scientists are great people. They're very rigid and boxed in their thinking. They don't communicate well. I have a really good friend that's a doctor in astrophysics. Unbelievably intelligent, most awkward person you've ever met in your life. So I often translate for him when he's trying to get research funding and stuff like that. So I put it in, in normal people words because I speak both languages. So, but yeah, I think transhumanism, like I said, there's so much, 8 billion people, and no, not Sheldon Cooper, like a real astrophysicist. I'll probably have him on at some point, talk about what he does. Cool guy, but very much like Sheldon, though. Really weird. And you give him a drink. He's Canadian, but he loves Applebee's. I have no idea why. Small town in Canada, has nothing. Teaches here at University of, well, I probably shouldn't say. He teaches around Southeast Michigan. And he's here, and he loves Applebee's, and he loves to go out and drink, and he becomes incredibly funny. But huge wealth of knowledge, studies cosmic distance scales. So if I could stay on topic for like 3 seconds, it would be incredible. But I don't see that ever happening. So yeah, when you think about 8 billion people, 90% of capacity of one's brain, then that could be the most powerful computer in the universe. And Elon, if you're listening, buddy, I would sign up for Neuralink in a second. Like, to have access to that much information instantaneously would be unbelievable. This one might be fun too. So we'll get. Sorry, I'm trying to find the tab I'm looking for. We'll read this abstract just for fun, for a good breakup. The computer in your head only uses about 10% of its memory. We just don't unlock the remainder of it because we're not developed enough in our evolutionary cycle. And actually brain function and capacity, surprise, has went down over time. So the doomsday argument. The doomsday argument and the simulation argument share certain structural features and hence are often discussed together in Borstrom 2003, Are You Living in a Computer Simulation, Philosophical Quarterly, blah, 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 citations, who cares? Aaron Yossi, Doomsday Simulation Agreement, or why isn't the N9 and you're not living in a simulation? Richmond, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read the rest of the citations. You can look. Both our cases were reflecting on one's location among a set of possibilities use a counterintuitive conclusion. In the first case, that the end of humankind is closer than you initially thought. And in the second case, it's more likely than you initially thought that you are living in a computer simulation. Indeed, the two arguments do have structural similarities, but there are also significant disanalogies between the two arguments. And I argue that these disanalogies mean that the simulation argument succeeds and the doomsday argument fails. So I've read the first paper. I have not read the doomsday simulation argument, but I certainly will. That sounds interesting to me. So, and I'm just trying to kind of bounce around here and get some different perspectives and different thoughts. Yeah. Let's have that argument later, Dance. I appreciate it. And I'd be happy to talk about it. You do YouTube too, so maybe we cross streams and have a chat if you're cool with that. Email me. I think I can put my email in here. Oh, it does let me. Sweet. I guess it's my channel. I can post links if I want to. So shoot me an email. Maybe we can work something out and do something. So the awesome thing about astronomy and astrophysics is you can still do it even without the degree. I think you can't do it as a profession, but go look at the stars. I can teach you some stuff. There's some stuff. Oh, whoever wasn't there all night last night, because I don't remember when I brought it up. I bought a 50 scientific theories book, and shoot, I gotta grab it. Hang on. And in that book, we're going to kind of go through it, and the Science and Tech Tuesday will be a different category every week. And that buys me a year's worth of content going through this stuff. So we'd have things like the basics, thermodynamics, theory of relativity, atomic theory, quantum mechanics, Schrodinger's cat, love Schrodinger's cat, quantum field theory, solar nebular theory, rare earth hypothesis, the Big Bang, dark matter, and dark energy. So a lot of key scientific theories And like I said, there's 50 of them. So hey man, Mom, what's up? So we'll slowly work our way through that. And it gives me I can cheat by not having to pick and figure it out and move around. We'll just go down the list and do them. All right, perfect, Dance. Where was I at? There we go. So I brought up. That's weird. Why is it doing that? Okay, I guess that's the best we got. I apologize. So this is basically somebody put together the 16 most asked questions about simulation theory, and responded in kind with papers to support their theory or to support their answer to the question. So we'll go through these as well. They give a good brief array of different things. So what is the simulation argument? The simulation argument was set forth in a paper published in 2003. Great paper if you like academic papers. A draft paper had previously been circulated for a couple of years. The argument shows at least one of the following propositions to be true. The human species is very likely to go extinct before reaching post-human stage. Any post-human civilization is unlikely to run into a significant number of simulations of their evolutionary history. We are most certainly living in a computer simulation. It follows the belief that a significant chance that we will one day become post-humans who run ancestor simulations is false. Unless we are currently living in a simulation, a number of other consequences of this result are also discussed. The argument has attracted a considerable amount of attention among scientists and philosophers as well in the media. Okay, so hey Glitter. So my argument is they have. I think you're able to escape the simulation and change your reality. So I am a firm believer in individuals like Elon Musk have exited the simulation and changed variables. Just because of the breakthroughs. And that's my theory. I think people have exited. So, but of course they're not going to broadcast it. So, question 2, do you really believe that we are in a computer simulation? This one specifically, no, I believe the simulation argument is basically sound. The argument shows only that at least one of the three possibilities obtains, but it does not tell us which one. One can thus accept the simulation argument and reject the simulation hypothesis, i.e., that we are in a simulation. Personally, I assign less than a 50% probability to the simulation hypothesis, rather something like 20% region, perhaps, maybe. However, this is an estimate. This estimate is a subjective personal opinion and is not part of the simulation argument. My reason is that I believe we lack strong evidence for or against any of the three disjuncts. If you wanted to hide a simulation, you would hide the evidence to find out we're in a simulation. That's my rebut to his argument. I note that people who hear about the simulation argument often react by saying, yes, I accept the argument. And it's obvious that it is possibility hashtag n that obtains, but different people pick a different n. Some think it's obvious that 1 is true, others that 2 is true, yet others that 3 is true. The truth seems to be that we just don't know which of those chunks are true. And we don't know and can't. And that's the point. I'm not going to read that one. Let's see what else. Okay, so this is a good one. If we are in a simulation, does not undermine the reasoning in the simulation argument. Let's see what he has to say. Yeah, like Bruce Lee or Alexander the Great. And you look at something. Let's get into the pyramid debate. If they were here already, you hear about these advanced civilizations prior. What if they just deleted them? Another thing that's interesting is you would need a Dyson sphere to generate the power to run a computer. This is one of the arguments. I think if they're that advanced, they have the computer to run. But you need that kind of harness, that kind of power to have the kind of infrastructure to render a simulated world. However, if you look at a video game, especially an online video game, the entire world doesn't render. Only what you see renders. And so if you only have to render what one person sees for an extended period of time, then what's to say you can't, and which brings on interesting philosophical arguments. So we sure as hell can, and it drives me nuts when people so let me tell you something about science people. You have scientists, you have academics, and then you have pseudo lay scientist people. The scientists will tell you that we have no idea. Right. Like whether or not two people experience consciousness at the same time. I'll get to that in a second. So a scientist will tell you, if they're being honest and not a jerk, they'll tell you that we have no idea. Like I've done work with a professor in the mountain region who does not believe that gravity exists. He thinks it's more of an electromagnetic charge. It's really, really in depth. Maybe we can talk about it at some point. But so that's the kind of thing that real science does. The academics are powerful positions, almost a political position, and they will tell you, we have all the answers, we know everything, and everything's buttoned up, and we don't have to worry about it anymore. There's very, very little that is buttoned up. If anything, I think Newton's laws are pretty sound, most of them. I think there's some thermodynamic laws that are pretty sound from what we know, but that could change. So if somebody ever tells you that they know anything without doing an actual hands-on empirical study, they're idiots. They're idiots. And they're trying to gaslight you. I'll say it that way since we're on the noon show. And that started at 1 because I had a meeting come up. Science is always moving and evolving. Always moving and evolving. So almost daily to keep up on and I won't say his name, but the doctor that is studying the electromagnetism, his advice to me was, what's up, Jonathan? His advice to me was pick one and study that, because you'll drive yourself crazy trying to keep up with everything. I didn't listen, and I read a lot of papers. So if we're in a simulation, doesn't that undermine reasoning in the simulation argument? The simulation argument relies on an assumption about the technological capabilities, of a mature civilization. Correct. Our evidence for this assumption is empirical. It is based on our best theories about the physical limits of computation and the kinds of constructions that could be built with advanced molecular manufacturing technologies, etc. And our confidence in these theories rests ultimately on observations of the world we see around us. But if we are in a simulation, then how could we trust these observations? You can't. Might they not inform us only about the simulated reality and not about any hypothesized underlying reality in which the simulation is being run? I don't think they would give a clue to, like I started, I don't think we have the information. I think it was intentionally not given, because we've talked. Jonathan, we've talked about things like Big Bang Theory, and we'll get into that when we get to it in the book. I don't buy it. I think it's a fluid situation. I think it dips in between multiverse realities, is my honest opinion. But again, different point for a different day. So yeah, Jonathan, I think that we're so far away from where we need to be to even get close to any of this stuff. The problem is it's not taken seriously, in my opinion. Val, do you want me to? I'll do Big Bang next week. We'll start off with a Big Bang and do Big Bang next week. Yes. So that's quantum computing using hypercooled sending atomic pairs. If you guys don't know, God, we're going all over quantum theory. So I'm not going to go there. We'll go there later. I'm not going to step on my toes longer. But yeah, so they're essentially pairs. So one, yeah, why not? One is positive, one is negative, just for the sake of simplicity. So there are two quantum entangled pairs of atoms. So we have two hydrogen atoms, quantum entangled. They will always be flipped. The thing is, we can't know what they are because they're in superposition. But we're trying to understand a gate for that so that if there's a plus here, it can be a negative on the other side. And these quantum pairs move faster than the speed of light. They're instantaneous. If I have a positive on my end and I flip the pole to a negative, the other one is a positive instantaneously, which breaks every law we've ever had about space-time and about physics and about speed of light and about all that. So we don't understand it is the short answer. However, quantum entangled pairs are absolutely fascinating, and the double slit experiment and quantum gates, and like, it's insane. Like, we'll go down some rabbit holes, my friends, if you want to hang out and if you ever want to try and get away with something like that. Miss Amanda, you have zero idea. Watch Hayden's stream next week. I'm going to dox myself beautifully for you people because I love you. Hayden's streams and my late night streams are a reason for me to decompress, because if not, my brain would probably explode. I can be ridiculous. So anyways, back to the paper. And if so, does this not undermine the simulation argument by casting doubt on its empirical assumptions? No, I don't think so. It will reflect more carefully on this objection. However, we see that it fails. The claim that we cannot have any information about the underlying reality if we are in a simulation is false. That's your opinion. In a simulation, we can certainly know the following two conditional claims. Let's see if I agree. If we are in a simulation, then the underlying reality is such as to permit simulations. It contains at least one such simulation, and 3 is true. So I'm going to argue that condition A is met. I don't want to die. Yeah, you want me to do that after Big Bang Theory? I can do CERN after Big Bang. They are moving particles at incredibly high speeds and colliding them. I believe there's 7 different readers now. But yeah, that again would be a whole stream. So we'll it was a joke, Ms. Amanda. CERN is odd. Let's just say that. And if you want to jump in the conspiracy side of CERN, it even gets odder. Maybe we'll do that part too. I don't know. Maybe I'm writing this down because I'll never remember what I said. So we'll do Big Bang next week. We'll do CERN the following week. I had paper and now it's gone. There we go. This doesn't look important. Yeah, the opening ceremony. Ooh. there are conspiracy theories. If you look at the CERN logo, there's very clearly a 666 in the logo. So yeah, it's there's a lot swirling around that. Maybe we can even set something up where I could do the actual science and tech of it, and then at night, Val and I could do the conspiracy side of it. Kind of set up like that, and 2 weeks. Well, it'll probably be 3 because Christmas is coming up at some point here. But after Big Bang, we'll certainly do CERN. So, yeah, no problem. Okay, I've gotten through 2 sentences. Let's try not to get sidetracked. We will. So I believe that condition A is met, and my argument is video games, metaverse. There have been online universes for some time, so. I had it. Sorry. Hey, what's up, Leanie? And I waffle on that because I guess I don't know enough about it. I've been pretty firm in my belief that when you die, you just turn off forever. But more as I get older and as I start moving through time, and I guess get wiser, I think that there could potentially be something after, and it'd be really neat to find out. I mean, obviously, I don't want to pass right now because I have some things left to do here on this earth, but I'm interested with scientific curiosity what comes after. So, how old am I? I am 34 years, very, very young. If we are not in a simulation, then the empirical evidence noted in the simulation argument is vertically taken at face value, suggesting that a technology mature civilization would have this ability to create vast number of simulations, and consequently, by the simulation argument, there's a very high possibility at least one of the disjunctions 1 through 3 is true. What I say to point B, sir, as there are literally hundreds of simulations running currently, and what we have to find out is what is consciousness. There's no way to test it. Is your Sims video game conscious? Linda, I hope that doesn't exist because I am certainly going to the latter if it does. I'm pretty sure of that. So, I'd like to. I'm very evidence and engineering based in my mind, and I've never had. And I know that that's not the way to approach faith, but. Ms. Amanda, I would love reincarnation. I would love to see the world through different eyes. Just, again, for the curiosity's sake. And I think the point is you don't know that it was reincarnation. So your consciousness leaves. Since we either are or are not in a simulation, we can conclude, even if we are in a simulation, that at least one of the disjunctions 1 through 3 are true. And again, I would disagree with his take and agree that both conditions were met that he laid out. This guy is very anti-simulation, which was kind of the point of bringing him up, but I'm trying to see if there's anything else. No, it's not true. Yeah, I don't know that it would. This one could be interesting. Isn't the simulation hypothesis untestable? Yeah. I would love to come back as something else. Like that would be ultimate, but and Linda, I have actually been to hell. We have a hell here in Michigan. It's a great city. It's really named hell. They have a bar in hell, and they have like a gift shop. And so, funny story, you can pay, and it's all ceremonial, but it's better than established titles. You can pay for to be mayor of hell for the day, and you get a certificate, you get a sash, you go around and give speeches, all this kind of stuff, and they do it all the time. It's really cool. They give you a vial of dirt from hell, and you get the same thing, also gimmicky, but a 1 square foot deed to hell. It's pretty cool. So I bought it for my wife for her birthday one year. It was funny. So, anyways, sorry, just thought of that, brain going all over. There are clearly possible observations that would show that we are in a simulation. For example, the simulators can make a window pop up in front of you with a text. You are living in a computer simulation. Click here for more information. Or they could uplift your level of reality, which is my argument for people like Musk or Bezos. We could also obtain strong, but for the general population, I don't think they do that, because then that alters the way you look, think, and understand the world. I mean, it would change the way that I would. Yeah. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere, so I wouldn't live there. I hope so too, Jonathan. Good luck, buddy. So I'm reading chat. Not supposed to be silent. Then it bothers people. If I dead air. This makes me just think that reality is simulated but real. The rules in place and everything else has basically programmed people. Exactly. So it could very well be that we have no idea about anything, and we're just programmed and designed to complete tasks. And so people argue, well, why would they go through all that? We could be a video game. That's a possibility. There are plenty of video games out there. Could be. They could be trying to simulate how things affect. So they could be like us and trying to say, okay, so if we put a volcano here, how's it gonna how's it gonna affect us? Or if they can control their environment, or how long does it take a civilization to get from here to here? Or we could be in a simulated reality to have them to test a hypothesis. So, so there could be several different ways that they would be using a simulation. It could just be for fun. It could be, and that's the scariest thing about the simulation side. I believe, Dance, that is along those same lines of the conversation that we should probably have. My personal thought, I think we're programmed. I don't believe in free will. I think everything's predestined and pre-programmed. Every move you make, even if you think you made it, I don't think we made it. Personal opinion, but that's my thought. Oh, so if the theory is correct, there are millions of simulations. But if you go into a game like, okay, has anybody ever played Civilizations? That's a simulation. There are millions of players at that game. Millions of different games going. And they say, oh, well, if you turn it off and pause it, how would we know? Like, we would just, their timeline wouldn't affect ours. So it'd be when they turn it back on. Like we don't turn off a game and everybody keeps moving. We don't turn off a game and, they all leave. Like, you're programmed to be a box. I think we're all on PCs, buddy. So I think that is awfully interesting. I really do. So this is saying that they're just gonna smack you in the head and say it. You wouldn't do that because then you wouldn't get a peer simulation. If you knew it was a simulation, it wouldn't be a peer simulation. Here's one we could discuss, Dance. Right here. I'll save this. I mean, realistically, we would be simulated by aliens. They'd be alien to us because they wouldn't be on this world. And they could look nothing like us. They could be nothing like us. But in reality, they're probably not. This is the day show. I'm going to not make the joke, Linda. Bad Linda. Why do you think there's been so much interest in this? If the simulation argument is sound, it tells us something surprising and profound about our world. The argument is powerful because from some rather simple empirical assumptions, it derives a remarkable conclusion about the world. Example, that it satisfies the above-mentioned tripartite disjunction. It is rare to get so much leverage out of a short philosophical argument. This guy's kind of a jerk. If you're really gonna this guy might be an actual NPC because he does not like sim theory. But it's good to read people that you disagree with, because then it strengthens your argument, in my opinion. Yeah, we're not going to read that. Let me find the next one. Read that one. I'm not reading this whole paper because we'll be here for 9 days. I had one more. Give me 1 second. Sorry about this, guys. That's sleep theories. We don't want that. That's not what I was looking for. Sorry, I had these all up, but then I got sidetracked. Let's read this one from The Conversation, an academic journal. And yeah, we're over an hour, so then I got to get back to work. So we'll read this article and then we'll kind of wrap up. So, Miss Amanda, I'm also a firm believer in our character. I'm going to call it character because it fits along the lines. Our character is designed to handle only what we can handle, and I think that's one of those things that we're in agreement with religion, that we're built to handle what's given to us. And yeah, it sucks, and sometimes it's really rough, but you wouldn't have it if you weren't built to be able to handle it. So yeah, cancer is, sorry to hear that too, Linda. Cancer is it is terrible. Same with my mom from lymphoma. So, how to test if we're living in a computer simulation? Physicists have long struggled to explain why the universe started out with conditions suitable for life to evolve. Because we don't have all the information because we live in a simulation. Why do physical laws and constants take very specific values? Because they're preset in this computer simulation. Okay, I'll stop throwing in my 2 cents. I would expect nothing less, Miss Amanda. And if you need motivation ever, I'd be happy to give it to you. Keep fighting. That allows stars, planets, and ultimately life to develop. Well, do we know that life's developed anywhere else? I think yes. The expansive force of the universe, dark energy, for example, is the much weaker than theory suggests it should be. Dark energy, I am anti-dark energy. Dark energy is a catch-all for scientists who can't explain something. It's a cop-out. Oh, Jonathan, I didn't even read that. Sorry, brother. Wow, that sucks, man. It's horrific. It's a horrific illness. The expansive force of the universe, dark energy, for example. Oh, I read that. Sorry. Allowing matter to clump together rather than being ripped apart. A common answer is that we live in an infinite multiverse of universes. I agree. So we shouldn't be surprised that at least one universe has turned out to be ours. But another is that our universe is a computer simulation. Both can be true, and I believe they are. With someone, perhaps an advanced alien species, fine-tuning the conditions. And the theory behind that is if they had a multiverse, multiverse. Yeah, dark energy is such a cop out. I hate dark energy. So if an alien species was trying to figure out something and had the opportunity, they would run billions, if not trillions, of simulations side by side with one single variable changed. And that's the thought, that multiverse, anything is possible in any universe, because every universe has every infinite number of possibilities. So my name and like everything and the theory behind that, we'll go through that, but everything in the universe is the exact same, but instead of Mighty Meat, my name is Mighty Fish, or whatever. So not going Rick and Morty. I'm trying to stay in science. But they did a fairly decent job with that. So the latter option is supported by a branch of science called information physics, which suggests that space-time and matter are not fundamental phenomena. Instead, the physical reality is fundamentally made up of bits of information from which our experience of space-time emerges. By comparison, temperature emerges from the collective movement of atoms. No single atom fundamentally has temperature. Friction causes temperature. This leads to the extraordinary possibility that our entire universe might in fact be a computer simulation. The idea is not that new. In 1989, legendary physicist John Archibald Wheeler suggested that the universe is fundamentally mathematical. Tripped over that one. And it can be seen as emerging from information. He coined the famous aphorism from bit. Jeez. In 2003, philosopher Nick Bostrom from Oxford University in the UK formulated his simulation hypothesis. This argues that it's actually highly probable that we live in a simulation. If you do the math, the interesting part is you can change variables. My math equation, I have 91% that we live in a computer simulation. So that's because an advanced civilization should reach a point where the technology is so sophisticated that simulations would be indistinguishable from reality, and the participants would not be aware that they were in a simulation. What's up, Nico? What's up, buddy? Hope you're doing well. Physicist Seth Leffer, trying to read ahead. Seth Lloyd from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Cool place. A lot of nerds, but cool place. Been there. In the U.S. took the simulation hypothesis to the next level by suggesting that an entire universe could be a giant quantum computer based on a Dyson sphere, powered by a Dyson sphere. And in 2016, business magnate Elon Musk, don't know if anybody knows that guy, but concluded we're most likely in a simulation. See video above. We're not going to watch that. There's some evidence suggesting that our physical reality could be simulated virtual reality rather than an objective world that exists independently from the observer. Any virtual reality world will be based on information processing. That means everything is ultimately digitized or pixelated down to a minimum size that cannot be subdivided further. Bits. This appears to mimic our reality according to the theory of quantum mechanics, which rules the world of atoms and particles. It states that there is the smallest discrete unit of energy, length, and time. Similarly, elementary particles, which make up all the matter in the Valhalla, come read for me. All the visible matter in the universe are the smallest units of matter. To put it simply, our world is pixelated, and it absolutely is. And they actually found some mathematical formulas in the universe to prove that it's could certainly be a simulation. The laws of physics that govern everything in the universe also resemble computer code lines that a simulation would follow in the execution of a program. Moreover, mathematical equations, numbers, and geometric patterns are present everywhere. Oh, they're going into it. The world appears to be entirely mathematical. That's another thing. They found computer code in I don't remember what, so I'm not going to tell you. But something you would have no idea that it was in. Nico, you might know. Help me out if you know. Oh, sorry. You're just listening. Okay, don't worry about it. Another curiosity in physics supporting the simulation hypothesis is the maximum speed limit in our universe, which is the speed of light. Contestable. In a virtual reality, this limit would correspond to the speed limit of a processor, or the processing power limit. We know that an overloaded processor slows down computer processing in a simulation. Similarly, Albert Einstein's theory of general relativity shows that time slows in the vicinity of a black hole, which could be some kind of processing apparatus. Perhaps the most supportive evidence of the simulation hypothesis comes from quantum mechanics. Most interesting thing ever. Yeah, maybe I'll look it up. Dance. In a second here. Because it's interesting enough. Give me one just really quick second. Oh, stop it. So they found James Gates. Sorry, again. See, it's not dead air because I'm singing or whatever. It's going to take more research. So he found, it just says, so it's a support string theory thing. Here's the actual paper. But I can't get to it. Whatever. So they found computer code in string theory in natural structures. So yeah, there's thought that maybe. Sorry, that was a long run around nothing. Perhaps the most supportive evidence of the simulation hypothesis comes from quantum mechanics that suggests nature isn't real. Particles in determined states, such as specific location, don't seem to exist unless you actually observe or measure them. And we'll get into that at the later point. Insanity. Superposition is will blow your mind. Like it's unless you actually observe or measure them. Instead, they are in a mix of different states simultaneously. Similarly, virtual reality needs an observer or programmer for things to happen. Quantum entanglement also allows two particles to be spookily connected, so that if you manipulate one, you automatically and immediately also manipulate the other, no matter how far apart they are. This is what I was talking about earlier. With the effect being seemingly faster than the speed of light, which should be impossible. Speed of light is not constant, just so you guys know that before we leave. We got a little bit of paper. Speed of light changes based on medium, based on density of material. It is not always 300,000 kilometers per second. That's another one of those academics will tell you speed of light's absolute. It's always 300,000. And that's not true. This could, however, also be explained by the fact that within a virtual reality code, all locations points should be roughly equally far from the central processor. So why we may think two particles are a million light years apart, they wouldn't be if they were created in a simulation. No, it's 300,000 kilometers per second. So nature, I'm sorry, I don't understand what you don't understand. Give me more information. It can be slightly slowed down due to a lot of factors. One of which is medium. Like we showed at the end of last night's stream, the atmosphere is incredibly heavy and incredibly dense. We don't know that because we're in it. But our atmosphere is a fluid. I believe it's like 14 pounds per square inch, but I don't know that right off the top of my head. Yeah, that's miles per hour, though, Jonathan. And that's miles per hour, not kilometers per second. The academics will tell you it's 300,000 kilometers per second because it's a nice round number. I think so. You don't, Nico? I would have thought you support simulation theory. So the idea is that processing, so based on your consciousness, processing doesn't take place unless you're viewing it. So if you're driving on the road, your local grocery store isn't there until you go to your local grocery store, if that makes sense. So nothing's there until you perceive it. That's the thought behind simulation theory, because that would lower the amount of resources needed to project the images or project the simulation. And that's something that's followed in like video games. I hope that answers it. If not, ask me again. So, assuming that the universe is indeed a simulation, then what sort of experiments could we deploy from within a simulation to prove this? It is reasonable. You understand? Okay. Yeah, not. It is an incredibly abstract thing, and if it's your first exposure to it, I wouldn't expect you to get it. It's it's taken me quite a while to figure it out. Yeah, it's pretty close. They didn't. I mean, a rock band. I give them a little bit of deference because They probably don't know a ton about it. It seems like a long way. Exactly. So go back and watch a little bit further back, and you'll get, because I got to get back to work here pretty shortly, and I want to finish this article, but we don't have the variables to our universe, so we can't prove that it does or doesn't exist, or is or isn't a simulation. So exactly. Exactly. You perceive that light because it doesn't exist because I wasn't there yet. Yeah, no worries, buddy. And you can reach out to me if you want to talk about it for sure. It is reasonable to assume that a simulated universe would contain a lot of information bits everywhere around us. These information bits represent the code itself. Hence, detecting these information bits will prove the simulation hypothesis. Nico, we talk about Musk and brain farms and Neuralink. I thought it was interesting. It was interesting for me. The recently proposed mass energy information equivalence principle, suggesting mass can be expressed as energy or information or vice versa, states that information bits must have a small mass. This gives us something to search for. We're not going into Higgs boson. 2 weeks. Or 3. I got to look at the calendar. Good. I'm glad, Linda. I postulated that information is, in fact, a fifth form of matter in the universe. I've even calculated the expected information content per elementary particle. These studies led to publication in 2022, an experimental protocol to test these predictions. The experiment involves erasing all the information contained inside the elementary particles by letting them and their antiparticles, all particles that have antiversions of themselves, which are identical but have opposite charge, which is antimatter, annihilate in a flash of energy, emitting photons or light particles. And photons are not massive. They do not have a mass. So but that's also up for debate. What's up, Jay? All information necessary. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of go for it. He probably won't know what you're talking about, but yeah, make a compelling argument. Get it. I predicted the exact range of frequencies of the resulting photons based on information physics. The experiment is highly achievable with our existing tools, and we have launched a crowdfunding site to achieve it. Great advertisement. There are other approaches too. The late physicist John Barrow has argued that a simulation would build up a minor computational errors, which the programmer would need to fix in order to keep it going. He suggested that we might experience such fixing as contradictory experimental results appearing suddenly, such as the constraints of nature changing. So monitoring the values of these constraints is another option. And if you look into Mandela effect, we're not going to talk much about it today, but maybe later. If you look into Mandela effect, which is pseudo, or some would call it, some would call it crap. But anyways, if you look into that and changing of different things, it gives you a clue that there might be errors and omissions that they've had to change over time. I am here. I am here, Nico. This is part of your reality, buddy. The nature of our reality is one of the greatest mysteries out there. The more we take the simulation hypothesis seriously, the greater the chances we may one day prove or disprove it. I'm pretty confident that we are. Just personally, but I think I've made that known. So, all right. Well, thank you for hanging out with me today. I got to get back to work. I hope everybody learned something, and I hope everybody enjoyed it a little bit. I will be talking shortly to Val about streaming. Please hit the like, subscribe if you haven't. YouTube knocked off a couple of my subscribers, so just make sure you're still subbed. So I am just a simulation. I don't actually exist. And the most terrifying part is one day the simulator may just shut off the lights and the party's over. And we would have no control of it. And life as we know it would just end.